Hello everyone and welcome back to another one Mr. Cruise video. As you can see there, I'm about nav level 100. So this is not actually my true run count because I've actually on my second super bonus map in 4 runs, so that means I'm about nav 40 right now. But of course, having those C chart cards have a guaranteed success rate is just really good. But when it comes to the mini boss teams here, I did change a few things, mainly in the way that we play the map rather than how we actually, like what units we use on the team. You'll see what I mean. I'm very happy with these teams. I mean, the buggy team, he's a very weak captain, right? But the team still does 700 million damage. So Big Mom is just really good to use on one of the mini boss teams just because of how much stats she gets from being a boosted character. It's about a 2.5x boost. She also has the advantageous class and advantageous type, so her special is also really good for the Robin and Crocodile fight because she removes enemy damage reduction, and then she also gives us a 2.75x conditional attack boost and a 2.5x color affinity. And that conditional boost is procced by the Flampe support in her. But you'll see what I mean in a moment. I'm just really excited about the team. But we are going to be going up against the Intrusion with a Nami and Karina captain, of course, getting 1 extra drop guaranteed. And then we're running the rest of the batch, and Hancock, no supports. So the Intrusion, if you have the Treasure Map batch, but you don't have Hancock or Garp from the God Valley incident, it's really easy. The final boss is where it gets difficult because Koala is absolutely dead weight on that team. Like, we don't even use her special at all, so she really doesn't help us. So we need to find a way to get around all the gimmicks. So there was a bunch of threshold, damage reduction, defense up on the final stage. So we're using characters like Treasure Map Frankie to get around that. But for both the final boss and Intrusion, Hack is just a perfect unit for stage 2. It provides us so much. Stage 2 here, the damage is always a bit of a problem here. We're just trying to tap through it as quick as possible without wasting time. So we're just going to start off the chain there with the Dex characters and then kill off for the friend Captain Sabo. Having a G-Orb on him, as well as the base attack boost from the Nami and Karina Super Swap, is really helpful for damage. And as you can see, those buffs are carrying over until the final stage. So here we are just going to use Koala. She's actually very helpful here. She provides us with a bunch of damage and also reducing the enemy's resilience. So we have to hit a perfect there with Nami and Karina just to get past the chain minimum attack down. Of course, you want to be using Sabo later on to reduce the chain coefficient and also give you a chain growth rate buff, as well as provide a territory buff and inflict the enemy with weakness, which will become much stronger since Koala gave an enemy increased damage taken. So that team, if you use everything, is definitely going to be at least 2 billion damage, which will last you until like nav level 1000. It's really good. For the mini boss teams, the only one I'm not using a dupe dropping captain is going to be against Teach. That's just because I don't have a 6-star buggy. If I had a 6-star buggy, I would definitely have all 4 teams running double dupe dropping captains. I try to avoid the Teach fight as much as possible. Not because the team is bad, the team is really good actually. We did actually change one thing in terms of how we play the team, but not really the units. The units are the exact same. As you can see there, we're not using the Garp ship anymore, and that reason is because Frankie is not a viable wave clearer on stage 2, because unfortunately his random hit damage, it doesn't kill the turtles. So you have to use Oprah twice, so make sure you have his double special activation maxed. So you're not going to get the chain lock from stage 2 wave clear, but you can just use the Akainu support on Sengoku by 2.75x chain lock. It's going to activate much faster than using Frankie's special again on the final stage. But for now, I'm not even wasting time having that support on Sengoku because it does waste a teeny bit of time. We don't need it. All we need is that 3.5x attack and all boost on Frankie. Of course, if you have a Frankie with little stats, no candy, no level limit break, then you want to make sure that you have his a stat boosting support on Frankie, and then also make sure that you have that Sengoku support. But as you can see that we're starting to get very tight on the damage. So you want to be adding that support of the Sengoku for an extra 2.75x damage. That'll allow you to get to probably nav 300. And then for the next boss, oh yeah, and the gimmicks on that quest is very easy. There's bad orbs in the final stage, but since we had a rainbow orb from the Shirahoshi Sailor ability, we can get around that. And then there's just some defensive effects that character negates or bypasses. So really not too much of a difficult boss. We could just focus on damage there. For this one here, we are using the unevolved Nami and Karina. The only reason we're using the unevolved one here and not on the next boss is because on the next boss, Nami and Karina themselves are the main damage dealer. So of course you want their improved stats. They are boosted character if they are evolved, so they have extra stats from that as well. But for this team, I did change one thing. I changed the Caesar into Zoro. I didn't know Caesar was actually a bum. I thought he could wave clear properly. He does kill, of course, with the poison, but you have to like let the turn pass. It's very trash. I thought Caesar was strong enough, but I guess not. Maybe they strengthen the turtles. Either way, Zoro is a great option for double special activation wave clearer. And then you have to make sure that you change the Perona into an int version so that you have one of every type. So once again on this team, you want to be adding the Akainu support for damage later on for 2.75x chain lock. With that, Aurelian Gaban does about 200 million damage, which is really good. And then of course we have our dupe drops, really nice, getting more crystals. The next one is going to be using the double Nami and Karina captains, so make sure you start off both captains in their strength form. If you're wondering why we don't just start off one of them in the quick form and then swap into the strength form on the final stage, the reason is that the quick form does not get the super swap charged, so there's a lot of you lose a lot of benefits from that. You don't get the base attack boost of 800, it's about 200 instead. The G orbs are much weaker, and either way, one of your Nami and Karinas will have a block orb, because Nami and Karina swap, it only changes adjacent into G, not her own orb. But if you use the super swap, it changes all block orbs into G, which we do have on the final stage. So I don't know if you got that, but it's very important that you start off both in their strength form for the max damage. So stage 1 Zoro, stage 2 Toki on the captains, and then Kid-in-law. As you see there, that Roger support is absolutely necessary, and you also need a -2 cooldown ship. Anyone works. I'm just using Whale Sharks because I like this ship. So use the super swap of Nami and Karina. As you can see, all the block orbs changed into G. Shanks activating really fast, strengthening the orb boost from the Toki effect, and providing a chain growth rate buff, chain multiplicative buff, and then most importantly, inflicting the enemy with defense down 0 through full immunity. Once again, dupe drop, so we should be getting some crystals, or not. We got very unlucky. The one really good thing about this treasure map is that, or not just this treasure map, but treasure map going forward, is that all of our mats are going to be so much better. We're essentially getting 1.5 free limit break expansions per month, like legend limit break expansions, because we now got new point rewards for points 1 million and 5 million. I think at 1 million you get something like 50 or 70 crystals, and then at 5 million you get like 100 or even more than that. So you're getting essentially a free limit break expansion there, and that's not accounting for the rest of the crystals you get from the other point rewards, which give you a bit less but still quite a bit, and of course the amount of crystals you get from actually clearing your runs. Yeah, stage 1 here we're going to be using Inaru, stage 2 Toki on Big Mom and Inaru. Big Mom is the most important one. Not only does the Toki effect allow us to get the 3.5x attack boost, but it also allows us to get the special bind on Big Mom removed instantaneously. As you can see there, very quickly we can use Big Mom and then Flampe support. I just wanted to showcase the team's damage, so I added the Flampe support, but earlier on you really don't want to be using Flampe because it does decrease speed a bit and it's unnecessary damage. As you can see, there's 633 million damage, and I don't think you've even used a friend captain buggy that's maxed, so he'll have a weaker captain ability. So if you use a maxed buggy friend captain, you'll probably get up to 700 million. Of course, this is with Big Mom super evolved and level 150 and expansion maxed. Okay, now we're gonna go up against the final boss. This is the one that I changed the most, and Frankie and treasure map legend what's her face, Nami and Carrot, are just so perfect for this quest. Both of them and the chopper support are going to allow you to get around all of the gimmicks. So if you don't have chopper support, just use the VV Psi support for threshold reduction. It's even better because you get a enemy percent resistance down. So definitely use her if you don't have your chopper. But Frankie gets around a lot of the debuffs on stage 3. and gives us a color affinity of 2.75x. So Frankie is great for not only damage but also utility. Nami and Karina, Nami and Carrot get around the hunger stack on stage 2 with their potential ability, so you don't even need to have that maxed, just level 1 hunger is fine. Make sure you have them limit broken at least to get that potential ability at level 1 at least. And then once again, the hack and Sabo combo here on stage 2 destroys everything. And then on the final stage, Nami and Carrot, why do I keep on calling that? This character is great. They super swap, gets around all the defense up, and their special gets around all the bind. So just a solid unit overall, helps us with essentially everything. And then Frankie removes the remaining turns of damage reduction and most of the threshold. And then Chopper, of course, removes the last 2 turns. You can also use Sabo for attack down removal, and this team's damage is ridiculous. Like if you activate Koala, you don't even need to start the chain, and Sabo does 1.8 billion damage. So this team at max can probably do over 20 billion damage. Like it's much higher than the one I showed you for the intrusion, just because we had that 2.75x color affinity from Frankie. So very, very good team. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. 11-minute run. That's very, very good. Wow. Bye.